Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bonfire Talks with your boy, Mark Walberg. I, Kalen Bean, am a winner. I am now an award-winning host. You've heard of the EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony. I have the first one in my NGOT, Netflix Award. It has been quite a week, my friend Kalen Bean. How are you before I get into all my egotistical self-proclamations?
I'm good, Mark.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. It's a busy week for me. I'm going to Comic-Con later this week. So.
Is that right, with your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And a zoo, I understand.
That's right. Taking the kids to the zoo. They want to see the pandas.
Oh, I meant that Comic-Con's a zoo.
Oh, no, the actual zoo we're going to.
Well, when it's San Diego, right? You got to do it. So, okay, man. Here's what's going on. I went to Vegas. I did a weekend of Wheel of Fortune Live. That was great. Nice to do 4 shows, give away money. Lost a little money in Vegas, but whatever. And then I came home because Thursday night was the Netflix Reality Universe Summer Break, which was a huge party, as you well know, with all of the stars from all of Netflix's reality shows. Love is Blind, Perfect Match, Ultimatum, Building the Band, Battle Camp, a little thing called Temptation Island, all sorts of stuff going on, right? And I was pretty uptight about it because leading up to it, they had these superlatives. I think we've talked about it, these superlative votes. Your favorite couple, your biggest chaos creator, ride or dies, all these silly kind of things. And one of them was host with the most. Now, I have talked many times with you, friends of mine on this podcast, and Kalen, my amateur therapist, about the self-talk that goes on between my ears. While on TV, I'm there for you, and you guys have overwhelmingly told me that I come up with great stuff to help you through things, and I'm grateful for that. It's because I'm constantly struggling that I have something to say to you. So, leading up to this event were several emails and requests to do social media stuff and all this stuff. And I looked at the nominees, and I checked everybody's social media, and now I follow them. And all the other nominees have 1.8 million, 2 million, 3 million, all these followers. So I'm like, there's no way I can win this award. It's a cute thing, but it's not like it's just kind of a fun summer thing. And I hate the fact that I've now been nominated without being asked to be nominated. And now that puts me in a conversation of having to be a loser and how that feels to me, which to most people wouldn't be such a big deal. They would say, you've got a terrific career, you've got a marriage, you've got kids, you're doing great. These things don't define you, but they did define me for several weeks. And so I kind of got to the place where I'm like, okay, just get your head around the fact that mathematically, there's just no way this is going to go your way, and it'll be an awkward 10 minutes at the party, and then whatever, right? And so that was that. Meanwhile, they asked me to do a Get Ready With Me video and all these things, which I'm like, you guys who follow me, both of you, you realize I'm not really great with this stuff. But my daughter, Goldie, she's the shit. We've had her on all the time, hot stuff. And so let me just say that in this whole swirl of me self-obsessing, I didn't self-obsess so much that I forgot my wife's birthday. I didn't forget my wife's birthday. And I had to be in Vegas to do this Wheel of Fortune Live thing, so I wasn't going to be in town for Robbie's birthday. And while my side of the family doesn't really care about birthdays and things like that, Robbie's side of the family celebrates everything gigantic. So I wanted to make it special for her. So I ordered presents that I knew she'd want. I took care of that stuff. But I was trying to think of how do I make her day great. So I don't know what order I want to tell you all this stuff, so I'm just going to kind of just go. So we go to the event on Thursday night, and we arrive, and I'll tell you about that too because that was all crazy. And we get in the event, and we're walking around, and around 6:45, I turn to Robbie and I say, honey, I'm so sorry we're not going to be together for your birthday. And she goes, I know, I'm really upset. I said, but I did get you a present. And I turned her around, and Goldie is standing there. I flew her. Did you see the video?
No, I didn't, but I remember you last week saying you were going to fly Goldie out.
So Goldie arrived at 6:05 and got there by 6:45, which if you know LA, that's kind of insane. And so she was standing there. And fucking Goldie, man. She just knows how to nail so many things. So here she is. She got dressed like in the airport. She just threw something together. It's this fabulous red dress that's the exact color of the Netflix logo. So she looked like everybody was coming up to her thinking, like, what show are you on? You know? So anyway, so that went off perfectly. I don't know how we pulled that off. Getting back to self-obsession and low self-esteem and self-talk. So I'm just convinced that this is going to be a nightmare. I'm convinced I'm the oldest person on Netflix, and what I'm expecting to happen is that we're going to arrive. There's going to be a moment, like a red carpet moment, where they're like, oh, Mark, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, everybody's going to be doting on all the real stars, and I'm going to be in the corner having a drink with Robbie going, what time should we leave? Right? That's where I hold myself for you friends. That's kind of where, up until this week, I've changed that now. I'm new. Can you see? I'm a winner. So that's the plan. Just let's get through this because nobody's really going to give a shit, blah, blah, blah. We arrive, and they hadn't opened the doors yet, so the check-in table was full of 6'5" men and goddess women. They were all casts of different Netflix shows. Love is Blind, Perfect Match, Ultimatum, gorgeous people, right? So already I'm like, I can't get out of the car. I can't, get out with my walker, and get out. So I open the door of the car, and they all turn around and, start cheering. So I go in, and all of these Netflix stars are like, oh, my God, I love the show. I love you, what you're doing, and all that. And I'm fangirling hard. I'm like, I love you on Love is Blind. So it became this really fun fest. Meanwhile, I have to check in and somehow get Robbie not to go to the check-in because they're going to tell me I have 3 names on the list, and I don't want her to know, so I had to work that hustle. So I tucked her in with, God, I wish I could tell you who it was, but this, I think he was an Ultimatum or Too Hot to Handle contestant. He was literally a god, this kid. He was just gorgeous. So I'm like, talk to my wife for a minute. So I did that while I took care of that, and we got in. Well, suffice it to say, everything I had in my head, and I want you guys to get this, the story in your head is such a lie. You're doing great, you guys. You're doing great. The story you're telling yourself is such a lie. I'm doing great. So I went in, and I see people from Temptation Island. I see people from other shows. I saw Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, Charlie, who didn't make it the first season and made it the second season, and we're so proud of her. Kelly, same story. They were there. Reese was there. Jada was there. So we're taking pictures. We're having a great time. So excited. So much fun. And I keep running into these PR people that work for Netflix that I don't know, but they're obviously beefed up PR people there because it's a big event. And they keep coming up to me and smiling at me and going, good luck tonight. And I'm like, stop it. It's, potential spam is calling me. I said, stop. I've done the math. There's no way, but thank you. And whatever. And then the night goes on, and I see my executive producer, and then I see some executives, and they're like, good luck tonight. And I'm like, stop it. Stop it. You're setting me up for failure. I've done the math. It doesn't work. First of all, I didn't see that Netflix themselves, like Tudum and Netflix, really put out much to the fans. I figured if the fans were voting of the 6 of us, which host they like the most, that, maybe there's a chance that fans would vote, But I didn't see anything from Netflix, so I figured the only people who are going to vote are the people who are following all of us. Right? So, again, the math wasn't mathing. And so the people keep saying this to me. Now, Goldie shows up. We have this great moment. It's about 10 minutes before the awards start to happen, and I'm just like, whatever. At this point, I'm having a blast. It doesn't matter. I'm fine. It just doesn't matter, right? And then another PR person says, almost time. Are you nervous? I said, no. She says, good luck. And I said, listen, I've done the math. There's no way I have 50,000 followers. Unless they all voted 1,000 times, there's just no way this is going to happen. And she says, well, all I'll say is stand close to the stage. And I went, and then, by the way, you would think with a normal person, they would go, oh. But no, I go to Robbie, that's so fucking cruel. Now she's setting me up for even more of a loss, right? So now, this thing starts happening. Forgive me, you guys. I played golf yesterday. I have terrible allergies. I can barely breathe. And so we're standing near the stage, and we're having a blast now. We're just having a blast. We're standing next to people, and, you know, AJ from Backstreet Boys is hosting, and I'm just having a blast, you know, really, really, you know, hanging out with people and meeting people and barely paying attention as they start going through the awards. And then Abby from Love on the Spectrum sings her hit song. So I'm waving my phone and having a blast with that. And then I realized, I said, well, look, I noticed something. I'm like, I definitely didn't win because all of the winners are coming from backstage. So obviously they've been told, they've been corralled and they're backstage. And that's how they're coming on. And so I'm like, I don't know why she said that, but whatever. And there were 3 or 4 awards going. So at this point, it's just not happening, right? So now I'm talking to Chloe Veach, who is absolutely stunning. And she hosts one of the great reality shows that I'm a big fan of on Netflix. She hosts... What does she host?
Sneaky Links.
Sneaky Links. Right, Sneaky Links. And so we're chatting, and all of a sudden that PR woman comes up behind me and grabs me by the arm and says, you need to come with me. And I went backstage, and long and the short, host with the most. Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, and they spelled my name right, but I realized it just as generic, host with the most. But that was, and then that night, got really insane because now everybody's congratulating you and you're going to do a little press and doing interviews and all that stuff. So it was really, really fun. And I got such a kick out of the fact that so many people were so thrilled for me that I really just, it was fun. And so, so now I'm an award-winning host. And so let me just take a moment in sincerity and say to all of you who voted for me, thank you so very much. And I have my big award here that for now will be on my mantle and then probably end up in a closet at some point. But it was really a night I didn't expect it to turn out the way it did. I didn't expect Goldie to get there on time. I didn't expect Robbie and I to have as much fun as we had. We really hung out with a lot of people and got to know all the people we were watching, you know. Tanner from Love on the Spectrum, who is just a joy, and hung out with Nick Bile and his wife, who has a new show coming out. Hung out with a lot of my Temptation Island singles that were there. I did tequila shots with Yemen and took pictures with all the girls and saw my producer. And
were they all there?
Yeah, a lot of them were there. Not all of them. None of the guys, you know, of the 4 couples, none of the guys were there.
Okay.
And Ashley was there. And Taylor was there. And Ashley and Taylor apparently have had this big falling out. So I was concerned that it was going to be drama. But I think they avoided each other all night. I saw them both, but I didn't see them together. And then a lot of the singles were there, and that was really, really fun. Now, here's some Temptation Island update news. Not about the season coming, although I'm leaving in August to go tape, so that's happening. But for those of you who are diehard Temptation Island fans from seasons past, from before Netflix, you may remember, and from my podcast, you may remember Caitlin and Hall. We had Caitlin on this show. She's now engaged to a wonderful man and invited me to their wedding, and that's going to happen next year. But she and Hall were the only couple in the history of Temptation Island that came on the show already engaged. And then Hall ends up kind of being the villain of the season because he immediately sort of falls for this girl and then asked the producers, can he go to the other villa, which is, you're not supposed to do that, so that he can break off the engagement with Caitlyn so that he can pursue this relationship, which actually is a little bit noble that he didn't pursue the relationship until he broke off the engagement. But that didn't make him look great. And everybody was going, poor Caitlyn, and Hall is a jerk, and this relationship is, because the girl, Michaela, who he fell for, just goddess, with all the sexy parts, right?
Sure.
And so people were kind of writing her off because of her looks and writing him off for saying, oh, he's just about that. She's this hot, bikini model kind of girl, and there's no substance, and he just left Caitlyn, who's fabulous, to be with this girl, and it's never going to last, okay? And I didn't have that same judgment of either of them because that's what I try to do on the show. Well, I'm here to tell you, 3 years later, that Hall and Michaela have been together ever since and just got engaged and are madly in love, and that's working out. So while the process is not advised nor healthy, Temptation Island, the outcome often works out. Caitlyn found a guy. One of the things that was a rub in Caitlyn and Hall's relationship was that Caitlyn wanted to pursue a career and was very career-minded, and Hall wanted to have children and get married and do this whole thing. And now Caitlyn's found a man who is an entrepreneur on his own right, they both got a lot of money and are doing great. They're traveling. Her business is doing great. She's happier than she's ever been. Hall, on the other hand, has found somebody who wants to travel with him, who is adored by his family. She's happy. He's happy. I know this not because I've talked to them, because I've invited them on the podcast several times. They don't want to have anything to do with it, which I respect. Props to you guys. But I follow them both, and it's really evident that they've really fallen in love, and this is a real thing. And so I couldn't be happier for all four of them, and this has happened many times on the show. So, for those of you who are quick to judge, love takes all kinds of shapes, man. The path to finding your someone takes all kinds of roads. So let's just take a moment, Kaylin, to say congratulations to Hall and Michaela for their engagement. And you're still welcome to come and talk to me. Yes. Now, little quick update of what will be happening on the podcast, because your boy was networking pretty hard as an award winner. When you're an award winner, people talk to you differently. So I'm happy to say that here are the people that have unofficially agreed to come on the show, this podcast. Many Love is Blind people. Chelsea, and the names are, I'm not going to tell you, but a lot of the Love is Blind cast that I have been a fan of are going to come on the show. Charlie and Kelly from Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, they want to come on the show. And I really can't wait to talk to them, because this was so great, too, because, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders are dancers. I'm a girl dad dance dad. Like, I'm that dude. 5 million views have seen me dancing. And on TikTok, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. LazyBallerinaClub.com. Anyway, so we bonded over that. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I know what a toxic world dance is. And then Goldie shows up, so that was fun. Oh, yeah. And so we have a lot to talk about. So I'm looking forward to having them come on the show. That'll be great. They look fabulous. I mean, if you think they're pretty on TV, you should see them all in person. They're absolutely stunning. Jada from season 2 of America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, who is a powerhouse on the squad, but she also is the one instrumental in getting all future Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders a 400% raise. So she's just a beast. She was there, and she won an award. And Kelly and Charlie won the award for Best Ride or Die, which was competing against Natalie and Kay from my show. I kind of was rooting for them, but all is good. And so anyway, so they're coming on the show. You know who else is going to come on the show? Who says he'd come on the show? That I'm very excited about. If you've seen Squid Game or Battle Camp, Shubes. I think his name is I don't want to mispronounce it, but Shubes is what I call him and most people call him. He was on Squid Game, and he was really beloved. And then he was on Battle Camp, and the reason I wanted to talk to him is he's on these like cutthroat shows and just never is cutthroat. He just is this authentic, honest, sweet guy. And when you meet him in person, he's that guy. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. He'll come on the show. So that'll be great. And so, yeah, it was, from the podcast standpoint, I'm going to get you all of your Netflix people. Mm-hmm. They've all agreed to come on the show. We'll see if they don't, big league me and say, yeah, we'd love to come on the show. But when I call, they won't. I think they'll come because I'm the host with the most officially now. And then, so that was Thursday night. We did what all winners do. We jumped in our black car, being big stars, and we went straight to In-N-Out. Nice. And did that, rocked some cheeseburgers. That was great. I had a double-double, and great. And Goldie had her Neapolitan shake, as she always does. And Robbie said, I don't want anything. And then when we were inside ordering, text me, give me a hamburger. She was great, by the way. We were all uptight about what to wear because they had, I hate this, by the way. If you invite me to a party, don't do this. When they say attire and the answer is summer chic, what the fuck is that? So I went through, and then they said, we need you to do a get ready with me video, which was kind of funny because I've never done one, and I kind of didn't want to do one. So I finally figured out what I was going to wear, although I changed it at the last minute. And I told Goldie, I'm like, I have to do this get ready with me thing. So she sent me a text saying, shoot these things and only these things, and don't do these things, and send it to me, and I'll make it work. So I did exactly what she told me, and I turned it in because I'm a good rule-following boy, and it got 312,000 views.
Wow.
So she, once again, Goldie Jane knows what she's doing. But Robbie had this whole outfit planned of what she wanted to wear, and then like 3 days before the event, and it was a great outfit. She's beautiful. I love my wife. She always dresses great. She always has a flair. But again, the details of, and this is a rub in our marriage, and husbands, you need to get this. I sometimes don't tell her all the information about an event. And then she's like, you didn't tell me this, and this. So, fellas, tell her everything. Prepare her so she can be prepared. So, about 2 days before, I'm scrolling Instagram, we're in the car, and I'm like, here's a picture of some of the people who are going to be there. And I'm showing her all these, 25-year-old hot Netflix stars. And they're all, wearing like a Band-Aid as a dress, right? And Robbie's like, I can't wear what I was planning to wear. This is not, we were kind of going like beachy, I'll just wear this like beachy kind of thing. And she's like, no, this is a thing. And so thank God I told her. So she kind of last minute changed and got out her shiny pants, and she looked fabulous. She was like pulling focus. She looked so great. And everybody loved talking to her because I've made it a point to let people know that she's the one who actually is the one with the advice. So it was just fun. It was a fun date for us. It was great because it was sort of like Robbie's birthday date. And everything went terrific. And, big shock. Then I get in the car to come home, and I love my daughter. She's the best. Robbie loves her too. But she's got this little bitey kind of judgment thing she can do, and she's not wrong. So she kind of lays into me. It's been cute. I get it. But now you got to stop this humble bullshit. And she said, Dad, it's time for world domination. I'm like, I don't even understand that. She says, every single person was there with their manager or publicist, and they all have brand deals and all this stuff, and you walk around going like you're not worthy. She says, enough of that shit.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong. So she literally has texted me 3 times, world domination is now. So I've had to step up a little bit. I've made some phone calls. I'm going to see if I can get some help. I just want free shoes. That's it. I don't really want. I love you guys. I love where I'm at. I love the show. Right? I love it. And I love the level of, I was saying this book I'm writing, I'm working on this book. It's sort of it's very autobiographical, but it's a lot of the lessons I've learned. I kind of say like it's the Slumdog Millionaire. How did I know this? Well, this happened. And I was thinking of titles, and I always say the best title for anything I do would be familiar, not famous, because that's kind of the way my relationship has been with all of you guys. It's like, yeah, I think I know that guy. And I love that. I don't really need it to be more than that, but I wouldn't mind, quite frankly, some of the money and the toys. I'm just going to tell you that looks fun. Like, I wouldn't mind some free face cream, I wouldn't mind, clothing like everybody else seems to be able to get so easily. So Goldie really laid down the line. She made me feel kind of terrible in the car, but it's tough love. I taught her to do this, so good for her. She's tough loving me, and my partner. She's going to help. And that was great, too. She said, maybe I need to step up and help you more than what she's been doing, which is basically telling me what I do wrong. So thanks, Gold. And I love you. And it was great seeing you. And then this worked out perfectly, as things often do, folks. Manifestation. I had to go to Vegas. So I went to Vegas. And the whole point of flying Goldie in was that she'd be with Robbie on her birthday, and they went to dinner, and they had a great time. And my son came down from Oxnard with my daughter-in-law, and they all hung out, and that was really great. And I was heartbroken that I wasn't there, because the time that the original four are in the same room, it rarely happens anymore. And so I was bummed. And then I was going to fly back Sunday morning and land right when she had to be at the airport to go back to Boston. So two things. One, I get to the Jet Suite X hangar, which is so cool and makes you feel like such a star because it's sort of semi-private. It's not private, but you don't have to go into the airport and everything. And I'm like showing up all trying to be sassy pants. I've just won an award, and I've been headlining a show in Vegas and whatever. And I go to check in, and they're like, yeah, we don't have you. I'm like, what do you mean? And then I look, I said, here's my itinerary. And I look, and my tour manager had made a mistake, and instead of booking Vegas to Burbank, she booked Burbank to Vegas. So I'm like panicked, but I got the last seat. Everything worked out. So I get home. Turns out there were thunderstorms in Boston. Mm-hmm. And Goldie had to cancel her flight and go the next morning. So I got a whole day with Goldie. We all went to dinner. I got to hang out with Morgan and Goldie and Carissa and Robbie. And it was just family time that was desperately needed. And really, really grateful that worked out, because I was going to miss all the fun. So that was it, man. It's been a whirlwind. And like everything in life, every experience you have, this is me becoming a dad again. Everything is either just a thing that happened and you don't think about it and like whatever, or there are lessons if you want them. And this actually applies because we have, how do I say this and preserve their anonymity? Someone who's close to us, who loves to be a victim and loves to ask for attention and advice, but doesn't want to take the attention and advice, because the truth is this person doesn't particularly think there is anything that needs to change, doesn't think that they need to do anything differently. They just want to complain about how the world treats them. So that gets back to lessons. If you're unaware that there's growth to be had, then there's no lessons for you. You can't, unlike Goldie, who beats them into me, unless you're willing to receive a lesson, or you're looking or willing to admit that you are a work in progress, you can't learn a thing. You're going to find yourself being miserable in the same quadrants for the rest of your life, complaining about the same shit for the rest of your life, until you get off it enough to go, I don't like it. So The point is, all of these experiences, I did a Wheel of Fortune. I did all these shows, and I could talk about that, and I'll share a little bit about that. And the whole Netflix thing, this swirl of bullshit that I went through about low self-esteem and I'm not worthy to be there and I'll lose and all this, and then making this award that it mattered. This was all behavior that's old that I was indulging. And so if I don't want to use this event as a lesson, or the things that happen in your life, that every single thing that happens in your life is going to teach you something. Every single thing, there's something you can take out of that's going to make you a better, stronger, happier person. But you have to look for it and want it. And so I kind of had it flash in front of my eyes, and in the most beautiful way. I mean, I was having a great time. It was really like all this outward praise that just fills you up and makes you feel great. But it really made me look at the bullshit that I've been spewing for weeks that is so self-centered and such a lie, and behind it is such this need for other people to tell you, no, Mark, you're great. You're doing great. Instead of you saying, Mark, you're great, whatever that means to you. You know, and I always think about when I was watching Battle Camp, and I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Roberto. He was a really handsome guy who got voted off relatively early, but he was really kind of like, you almost want to say he's kind of douchey, but, you know, he's a real, like, alpha, sexy guy. But they show them getting ready in the morning, and he looked in the mirror, and he looked right in the mirror, and he said, "Good morning, sweet king." And I was like, that changed my life. I'm like, that's like, I don't care what you think about this guy, but what he thinks about him, I want that, right? So anyway, the point I'm getting at is this, the story you buy into that you believe, that you think doesn't affect anybody else, but isn't true and authentic to you, when you think you're being falsely modest and no, I don't deserve it, and other people first, whatever your story is, it actually does affect other people because it's not authentic, and actually is begging them to give you attention, is performative, right? And that, I always talk about it as like when you walk past a mirror and you see what you actually look like and you're shocked, that physical thing where you think you got your shit together and you walk by and you see yourself talking to somebody, you see yourself in the mirror and go, ooh, right? So if you look, life provides you with those moments that are cringy, but like, I don't want to be that guy. And that's what this couple weeks has been, is like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be arrogant guy. I don't want to be, clout chasing guy. But I also don't want to be, I'm not worthy guy. So that you say, yes, you are. So that this whole Wheel of Fortune, going to Vegas, doing the Netflix thing, Goldie and everything, was a mirror in front of my eyes of like, there are things I still need to learn, to be the best version of myself, which in turn plays into who I am on TV for you guys and who I am on this podcast for you guys, is I need to be the best version of me so that I can be of service to other people, which is really, I think, what my purpose is, and all of our purposes, I think. I always say it. It's the best version of you when you're being of service to others. So, and I was able to access it, and I always access it when I was in Vegas doing Wheel of Fortune. So it's a stage version of Wheel of Fortune. It's just people come in and we pull people out of the audience and they get to play the game. And regardless of the swirl of what's going on in my life, when I show up to do that and any other thing like Temptation Island or whatever, I get into a zone that's all about the audience and the people serving that. And so I got to do like 4 shows where I really kind of authentically leaned into the fact that these people are sitting in an audience. They get their name called out loud on stage, which for some people is a never possibility. And now they're pulled up to stand on stage under the lights in front of 1,000 people and play Wheel of Fortune, which to them is something inaccessible that now they're getting to do, and win whatever they win, right? And I get to be the facilitator of that. So I just sat there going, on stage, like present to, what what a joy it is for me to be able to do this. And how can I make their experience even more joyful? How can I, rather than going, oh, whatever, this is about me, look how funny I am, how can I enhance their bucket list moment to its ultimate bucket list moment? And so as I'm seeing people win, we had a couple wins of $1,250 and stuff like that, which, again, you could say that's not a lot compared to the TV show, but for that person, it was a lot of money. It was like a really big deal that when they woke up to go to the show, they didn't expect to go home with $1,250 cash. And so I just got such joy out of watching their joy, experiencing something that I take for granted, being on stage, doing all that stuff. So again, whatever you're doing is a chance for you to kind of tweak your beingness to be a little bit better version of you. And today I'm feeling lighter and brighter because of all of it. And so I hope that, if you've stayed to the end of this podcast, I hope there's something that resonates for you that lets you be lighter and brighter today, that you can do like your boy Mark and start to access world domination by loving yourself a little bit, like looking in the mirror and saying, hi, sweet king, do that for yourself. We talk about it all the time. I talk about it all the time on the show. I don't do it ever, but I'm trying to do it, and you can try too. Kaylin,
Mark,
I feel like you resonate that from the inside always.
Thank you.
Even when you blush when I say that, what you're doing right now. Anything you want to add before we are wrapping up today's Powerhouse episode?
Last week we were talking about social media and how being on social media can make you feel bad.
Yes.
So for the past week, I've gotten off social media.
For a week?
Yeah. Now, it's not completely because I do other podcasts.
You have to check in.
I have to check in. So I check in to see how my clips are doing of my podcast. But me personally, I deleted Reddit.
What?
And
I don't do Reddit.
Reddit's my one. So I deleted Reddit.
I don't. It hurts my feelings.
Yeah, Reddit's rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I deleted Reddit. I have not been on my own personal Instagram page. Like I said, I technically on my podcast one. Haven't been on my Instagram page, Facebook, and I've been completely off social media for a week now.
Sick.
Yeah. So
I have OD'd on social media because Goldie keeps posting. Oh, in the one day we were home, Goldie and I did like 4 TikToks that she's rolling out.
Yeah.
And that's a drug because then you look to see if anybody responds, and some of them flop and some of them are great. But they were fun to do with her.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
Good.
I'm impressed with that, Kaylin.
Thank you.
I will try to wean myself off of, then when they give you the hours of how many hours you've been on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hours.
No.
It shouldn't, on any day, it shouldn't be in the hours. So that's something to work on. That's about it, you guys. I'm just sitting here happy to be with you and chat, and I will do this all day because I don't have an appointment to go to. But, so to recap everything, first of all, I'm now an award-winning host. It's not an Emmy, but it means as much to me. This is the N. I'm hoping to get the E next year and all the way to the X, if we can do that. I am excited to tell you that I'm going to have some guests coming up in the weeks to come. Starting next week, I hope. I'm going to start trying to lock that in. Yeah. And that'll be fun because I really wanted to do this podcast, and I started to try to book people just to make the podcast bigger. But I decided that's not Kaylin's and my vibe. I want to have people that I really have something to say, that really I'm happy to see and want on the show. So I'm excited to have these people that I've met and have something to talk about. We have a common experience. I really am excited to have them come on the show. So a lot of Netflix stars will be showing up. And then the recap is check yourself before you wreck yourself on that self-talk. Join me in a summer dedication to be kind to yourself, not just kind to yourself, like arrogant for yourself, an advocate for yourself. Just stand in your own 2 feet, like I don't care what the world says, I'm awesome. That's what we're going to say, okay? And I'm going to start. You're awesome. That's a clip, by the way, that's become a meme of me.
What?
I guess. You got to understand that in the bonfires, I can't remember a word I say.
Right.
Like it happens, it's a thing, and then it airs, and I'm like, what? But apparently there's a moment where I like lean forward to say something like, do you even know how awesome you are? And that's become like a sound. So I'm going to say to myself, do you even know how awesome you are? And I'm going to say it to you, do you even know how awesome you are for liking, subscribing, and commenting to Bonfire Talks podcast? That's it, you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. Fans, thank you so much. I mean, it's sort of just a silly promo thing, but to me, it's a real, I gotta quit doing that. This is a great thing, and I'm happy I won it. Congratulations to me, and thank you for your vote. Did you vote, Kaylin?
No, I didn't.
You didn't vote?
I told you I'm not on social media.
You fucker. The one guy I expected. I thought you would vote like several times. All right, Kaylin, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I love you.
Love you.
Love you guys. See you next time.